do you think would you mind walking out to the dock or?
That's fine. No, I'm too old and my arthritis is kicking in. I think I'll just lay here.
They really did a good job at bringing this boat back to life. Oh, fucking... Oh, Cheech is right there. Oh, he's gonna stay over there. All right.
All right.
Okay, so something happened I'm a little worried about.
Something happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
So, oh wait, I'm sorry. Just give me 1 second. I want to put on different music. So, 2 days ago, I'm riding out with this guy Henry that I hang out with sometimes, just from Saint Anita Valentine. Run into Kettleman and his gang. They stop us, obviously. They're giving Henry the fucking bunch of questions. You know, who you with? Like, not with anybody. Like, yeah, he's not lying to you. He's not with anybody, blah, blah, blah. You know, I understand they're paranoid, whatever. And then Kettleman turns to me and he's like, Dahlia, you don't tell anybody you fucking saw us coming into Saint Denis. Or whatever he said. You don't tell anybody you saw us coming, something like that. Whatever he said, right? Promise me. And I was like, yeah, I promise.
All right.
No problem. You know what I mean? So then we go up to Valentine. I can only assume what the fuck they were doing heading into Saint Denis. Haven't gotten to talk to anybody else from Saint Denis since then, so I'm not sure if anything happened. But we run into them after a while from being in Valentine. We go down to Shady Belle for shooting practice. I go there probably every day, actually. Usually not a problem. We roll up, and as we roll up, one of my guys shoots the dynamite as we're hitching our horses. Fucking Kettleman gang is inside. They come out on the balcony. And obviously they're like, get the fuck out. Get on my horse, and I'm like, everybody come on, leave now. But they shoot down one of my guys, Henry, same guy actually, Henry. So I literally have to, I put my hands up and I walk up to them to tell them, hey, we're just grabbing this guy's fucking, you know, we're grabbing this injured guy and we're leaving. Like, you know, we came here for shooting practice. Don't worry about it. You know.
Wait, so they warned you to leave and then y'all left, or as you were leaving, they shot one of you down?
As we
That don't make much sense.
Yeah, as we were getting, you know, they didn't
Did they
understand.
have reason to keep shooting?
No, they didn't. But as they were, I mean, basically, like I'm saying, we ran up. They said, get the fuck out. I'm trying to tell everybody, hey, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. And they just started fucking blasting. Took Henry out. So, like I'm saying, I start leaving and I realize that I don't have everybody with me right down the street, right? So I stop my horse, I get off, I put my hands up, and I walk up to Kettleman. And I'm like, yo, this is a misunderstanding. I'm gonna grab my guy, and we're gonna leave. Don't worry about it. No problem. And he starts they start shooting cheeky shots at us as we're leaving anyway as well. So then we go to the doctor's office in Saint Denis, obviously to get this guy fucking treated. Then they roll up to the fucking doctor's office too. And one of the doctors, they saw them, and I tried to stop her, but I didn't get there in time, and she reported them running around with guns to the law. And that makes me a little fucking nervous.
So you're worried they think you're gonna be the one that reported them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no one told the doctor who shot him, right? Because I know state doctors won't work on people unless they have details.
Yeah, so the problem is that when we walked into the doctor's office, I made it very clear that I was around. I said, we were out shooting and I accidentally shot Henry, okay? That's what happened. Well, apparently he's involved with this girl, and we all went to Rhodes to get out of the line of fire that was happening in St. Denis. And I guess while we were all off talking, he did tell her. So that's the part that makes it a little sketchy.
Yeah, that will make things problematic. Especially if she went and told the law, then the law finds out who does it. And inevitably, when they're arrested and charged with shooting your friend, and they're told that, they know that they did it, then that could be a problem. See, Jack, him and his are very...
paranoid.
They hate anyone that would talk to the law, period.
Oh, same. Same. I actually cut Henry out for this very reason. I'm not doing it.
Right. So, well, I mean, that's not a problem for you then.
I mean, unless it's perceived as a problem. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm worried about.
You worry too much about perception. Truth is what it is, right?
Yeah, but perception is way more effective, really.
You have to establish your person as a person of truth, that what you say is truth. That you would rather not lie about things. Now that is dangerous to do and is difficult. Hell, I murdered somebody in order to ensure people understood. When I tell you what I'm telling you, then it's accurate information. I am not bullshitting you.
Mm-hmm. See, but Robbie, I think that's the problem, is that I don't give inaccurate information, but people are so paranoid and convinced that everybody around them isn't giving them truthful information. It just turns
But you do
around.
give inaccurate information. You just told me you told people that you shot your friend on accident.
Okay, but that was to law. That's not fair.
Mm-hmm. Inaccurate information is inaccurate information, is it not?
I don't count to the law.
It's a slippery slope.
All the inaccurate.
The more people think you're good at lying, the more they are wary of you.
Mm.
See, people are wary of me because they know I can talk in circles, but I'll normally give them the truth while I'm talking in circles around them. I mean, the perception may be that your friend that you were with, or that one of you spoke to the law, and as soon as you tell Jack, well, I no longer ride with him because he spoke to his doctor friend who he's sweet on, and you tell him like it is, and we're no longer friends, and I don't ride with him anymore. I pushed him to the side because of this, because I knew it would probably get to the law, and I want no part of that.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you lay that out, well, he has two choices: to believe you or not to believe you. But I mean, unless you give him a reason not to believe you, then he probably should. Besides, by the time they find out one of them's already arrested and in prison, that's going to be when they find out, unless you go to him first. Now, if you take the information to him and let them know, hey, y'all, this may have gotten out. Here's how it may have gotten out. I've cut this person off. Then maybe you get ahead of it.
Yeah,
but while Jack's angry and in turmoil and violent right now, his lawns are afire. I don't know if I'd do that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an interesting situation.
It's just, I'm walking on eggshells between so many fucking people right now. You know what I mean?
What do you mean? I don't know what you mean.
Like, like if one of Jack's people was to even see me say hi to a fucking DiCenzo, they would assume that shit's going down and I'm working with them again or something. You know what I mean?
Would they, though? Did you not say you're going to be in Saint Denis and you're going to be building your business here and you're going to be making connections here? Therefore, and I even said it, the DiCenzos would end up being connections of yours and potentially business associates that you may have to put out a kick up to or pay a little bit money to, etc., for extortionary purposes to keep them off your back.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's absolutely gonna happen.
So there you go. It's already been said in a conversation and in a meeting, and as soon as it's brought up, you just state it like, look, we told you. I told you. Told you. I mean, it's inevitable that you're in Saint Denis, you're going to be talking to them. Now, if they see you having, I don't know, a lot of private meetings and you're seen on multiple occasions constantly talking to them and sitting on their porch and having a good-ass time, then that's a different perception than just one conversation observed.
That's not how the DiCenzos see it, because if Dahlia talks to Jack Kettleman once, she's with him, apparently.
I'm gonna warn you, though. You need to be honest. You need to be truthful. If you dance in circles of lies, you'll get caught in them.
I really don't, Robbie. I really don't. But people are very convinced that I do.
Nah, I'm giving you one and I ain't convinced.
I think that everybody, I mean, that's what Jack keeps telling me, right? He's like, you're a schemer, you're a schemer. DiCenzos too. They're convinced that I got something up my fucking sleeve. I'm just trying to live.
It's alright, they think I schemed too. Sloan tried to... I think Sloan tried to insinuate the other day when I talked to all of them that I was the one that pushed Jack into this wall. That I was whispering sweet nothings into his ear because I know just the right buttons to push with Jack, which I do. And I pushed him into this wall, and then when I told her I didn't have his ear like that no more. I could talk him down from violence, but I couldn't incite him towards violence. She said something about me being modest. And I think she was insinuating that I was being too modest in that situation and therefore lying to her.
Yo, I need to stop saying yo. Sloan fucking hates me.
Yeah, I think she hates me too. And I don't know why. I tried to work with her and I tried to help her, and she came to me while she was still with Jack, and she's like, why do you hate me? Why don't you like me? And I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm sitting here working with you, trying to create with you. And she was convinced that I had something against her, maybe because I was... The thing is, Goldie had something against her, and Goldie didn't trust her at all. And Goldie was almost sure she would turn on Jack at the first chance she got. And, well, I think Goldie was pretty accurate with her notions towards Sloan.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
I mean,
even though Goldie felt that way, I didn't feel that way. I advised Goldie against her feelings and against her gut. To trust Sloan until otherwise proven. That's the way I live.
Me too. Me too. But I swear to you, as soon as she heard that I had ever talked to Jack in my fucking life, her whole shit changed towards me. Because at first when I met her, she was fine.
Yeah. How dare you talk to the man that she loved.
Right. And it's not like I mean, I did get drinks with the man, but not like that. You know what I mean? It was a meeting about my survival. And oh my god, literally as soon as I said anything about, oh yeah, Jack told me that one time, her whole shit fucking changed.
She knows Jack. She knows Jack probably tried to use his charisma something on you. His charm.
Okay, well, just because she fell for it doesn't mean that everybody else does.
I don't know. She's a interesting one that I think she'll do and say whatever she needs to do or say in order to be accepted.
I agree. And from what I've seen, unfortunately, it seems like a lot of her wanting to do whatever or say whatever to be accepted includes throwing other people under the fucking wagon. It is life.
The thing with people like that, though, is they will eventually hang themselves or out themselves. All you ever do is talk bad about others, then eventually your character shows through. You'll have nobody else to talk bad about, and everybody will see all you've ever done is speak poorly of everyone that comes around.
I like to think that. I would like to think that that's the case, but sometimes, Robbie, I don't have a lot of faith in humanity. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Brothers aren't stupid. They haven't lasted this long by being stupid and by bringing people into their fold and trusting them wholeheartedly. They keep their soldiers and their lackeys all at arm's reach for the most part. They show them the family side and give them enough to build that love, to build the loyalty, to build the camaraderie. But they're not dumb.
Mm-hmm.
You saw what they did to Oliver the moment he stepped out of line.
Yeah.
They're not idiots. As soon as someone steps out of line, it will hurt them. And not everybody is Oliver. Not everybody's able to handle that. Not everybody's as loyal. I don't think Sloane would be able to handle that. That's what drove her from Jack. Was the fact that she made a decision. The rest of the gang didn't want to follow that decision, and they didn't believe she was in the place to make the decision.
And what was that, if you don't mind me asking?
Jack was on the back of Summers' horse, and Summers was not going to give him to the gang. They ran to the gang and rose. And Sloane wanted to ride after Summers and into a gunfight with just 2, 3, 4 of them, however many that was there. And they were split on whether they wanted to chase after them, because Summers said, we're going to go get him. We're taking him to Valentine. We're finishing a contract, and he's going to get medical attention there. And Sloane was disagreeable, which rightfully so. It's her lover that's on the back of a horse bleeding. And she let that emotion guide her, and then while the other members of the gang tried to caution her, like, we should not take this fight right now. We need to make sure he gets help. And then she instead led a charge after Summers with like 3 people and got gunned down as well. So now you got 3 more injured on the ground. Jack's treatment delayed, and a whole lot of mess where everybody's angry at each other.
You know, that's really funny. Considering one of the things she said to me one time, actually, it makes a lot of sense. I don't know what her deal is, and I don't know what she cares about. But, like, I don't even know if I can call it self-preservation with her. Some people, like, can identify it and be like, oh, no, they're just so caught up in their own self-preservation that they don't give a fuck about anybody else besides themselves. That, I don't even know how to identify it. I don't even know how to pinpoint it, nail it down. You know what I mean? That attitude that she has.
You know, the going after Summers in that situation, hot-headed and emotional, would have been fine. Honestly, nobody doubted. Nobody actually was mad at her for making that decision. Goldie was somewhat upset because she wanted to try to make sure that Jack got help, and Summers had never lied to her at that point. So Goldie was trusting in Summers that he was taking him to Valentine to get medical treatment. And it wasn't like Jack was wanted at the time. It wasn't like he was going to go to prison. So Goldie accepted that Summers was doing that. And so Goldie made one decision. Some people agreed with Goldie, and some people agreed they should ride out and try to gun them down. And after that incident, the disagreement's fine. People have disagreements in how they want to handle things. That happens all the time. especially when there's absence of leadership.
Yes.
The issue happened later after everything was done. They were yelling at each other, and they refused to understand that the other side did the best they could to try to make the right decision in a very tumultuous moment.
Right.
And Sloan calls Goldie a coward in front of an entire gang, and Goldie had just come back from being in a coma for about a month. And Sloan was dead set on making sure everybody saw her as a coward.
She loves talking shit.
Well, I mean, Goldie was talking shit too, but it was only because she was called a coward that really set Goldie off.
I don't understand. Here's the thing, Robbie. There's a lot of things that I'll tell you about the way that I view the world from this conversation. One, regarding what we, different people wanting different outcomes, things like that, disagreements. Point blank to me, if you've got, say it's 5 versus 5, right? If you have 5 people that just agree, that not even agree, but just follow one thing, they're gonna fucking win, even if they aren't as skilled as the 5 on the other side that have 2 people saying one thing, 2 people saying another thing, and 1 people saying another thing.
Mi scusi. One too scared to come and say goodbye to you. You go to bed.
Oh, okay. Tell him I said good night. I'll see him tomorrow, okay?
I see.
Thank you, Chicho. Good night, Juan.
Not Miss Dahlia. I wasn't gonna disturb, but these two, fools.
I mean, I didn't know if you had anything to tell him. I'm like, just go say good night to her.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I'll be around tomorrow. No problem. Have a great night.
It's okay.
You too.
Okay.
All right.
Little chicken shit.
Okay. No, I ain't
but anyway, that's something that I've always believed to be true, regardless, right?
I agree.
Organization wins battles. That's the end. And the other thing is that I don't understand how some people think that by, in a social setting, knocking somebody else down makes you taller. That I don't understand. That's like a fucking one of the most immature approaches to life. Right? You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, I do, of course. Typically, it stems from a place of not being confident in your own abilities. So you need to shift the focus on other people's abilities, and not what you're bringing to the table, but what they're bringing to the table.
Uh-huh. It's funny you say it like that, actually.
I wouldn't trust Sloan at all at this point. Not even if I didn't know all of that. Anyone that, even if you got shot by your family, to turn around and then end up working with their most powerful enemy toward your demise, that means you never loved them at all. They were merely people that you surrounded yourself with. Look at Kaniklo, stabbed multiple times by Jack. He loves Jack. He loves that family. And look where he still is. Look at James Kelly, stabbed in the back, nearly paralyzed by one of his, and he still rides with them and loves them. I don't agree with attacking your own family. I don't agree with Sloan being shot by James Kelly, but family sometimes has to do things. Look at Oliver. Had his head bashed in. Still loyal, still loves the brothers.
Look at Dahlia. Still loyal, still loves the brothers. What a fucking shame.
Only one person in those two groups. Got a little bit of violence towards them from someone they love, and let me just go for the enemy now.
Yeah. So, When Sloan went over to the DiCenzos, was it really that blatant? It was, they are the enemy and I'm going there now?
Oh, absolutely. I believe when she finally jumped ship. I don't know what led up to it. I know James shot her, and that was the final straw, I guess. I'm not sure what happened before that. I don't know the details of what was going on, but the war was already started, I think. I mean, literally, James was here in Saint Denis just for that. I'm not sure exactly what part or where it was or anything like that, but the conflict had already begun, for sure. Was it like it is today? No. But it had already begun, that's for sure.
I just... I don't even know how to talk about this at all, actually, just in general. I mean, we both were kind of coming in with extremely different circumstances, but somehow it seems like it's God damn it, Robbie, I'm gonna be honest with you, it seems like she, like I said, it seemed like she tried to knock me down to make herself taller every chance she fucking got, and that shit pisses me off.
In what
All
way
I
did
showed
she
any
attack
of them
you?
was love.
She went after you.
She seemed, part of this is assumption, okay? So there was only one conversation that I had with her that made it clear kind of what her feelings were, and that was the conversation where I basically approached her and said, hey, what's your fucking problem? And her response was basically, well, I'm around here because I'm a doctor. What do you have to offer? That conversation got cut short. And I haven't really talked to the gender
She said that to you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She, yeah.
That's funny.
But like I'm saying, her whole fucking attitude shifted as soon as she found out that I'd ever spoken to Jack in any capacity. That's when she switched up on me. So, a lot of people like to talk about how, you know, in situations like and I'm one of them, in situations like this, in war, in gang settings in general, yeah, emotions should be cast a fucking side. There's a job to do, there's shit that needs to get done, and fuck your feelings, honestly. But I don't know. I think that there's a lot of people feeling a lot of things.
You feel you'd be with them, accepted among them?
I don't know anymore, actually. I think that the way that I was raised is cohesive, and I think it would make a lot of sense. But I think that the people involved are not cohesive. Not all of them.
Right. I don't think there's anybody like that right now in the crossing, to be honest with you.
What do you mean?
There's nobody that has it together. The Chenzos don't have it together. They got loose ends within their own foundations and such. Cracks. and their buildings. Kettleman and his gang ain't got it together. Summers doesn't have his gang together. Taipan doesn't have their shit together. None of these gangs have their shit together.
Robbie! And Robbie, that's exactly what I'm trying to build right now. A stable fucking foundation. I am at a point right now where I have the opportunity to build a stable foundation, and that's what I intend to do. It might take a long ass time, and it might take a lot of turning away good people just because they're not going to fit the stable foundation. But that's what I'm trying to do.
You're trying to make a gang.
I mean, I almost feel like it's necessary, right?
Why? What's your motive? What's your purpose for this group of like-minded individuals that you would bring together?
You're gonna laugh at me. A family. Now, obviously, currently, I've got some personal motivations for this because I'm in a point where self-preservation is not given to me. I'm not promised because I got so fucking caught up in this fucking war and with Sam and with the DiCenzos and with Kettleman and everybody, and I can't just walk around alone. That's fine. But I'm still trying to build an actual business, something sustainable, something that will make sure that my life and the people involved's lives just carry on.
I'm not gonna laugh at you, boy. You're a long ways from home. Why would you not try to find like-minded individuals that you can share camaraderie and love with? Is that not what everybody seeks? And anybody that would laugh at you for doing so is a fool. Look at where they are. So many of them are not even brave enough to try it on their own. They'll latch themselves to whoever will allow them to be latched to, and then they will adjust their behavior accordingly to the people around them to try to fit in.
And then it crumbles eventually.
It does. You see, I think that's where Summers messed up. I like Summers. I like who he is. He doesn't apologize to anybody for what he believes and what he is. He doesn't hide behind anything. He doesn't put a mask on, neither figuratively nor literally. But he messed up. He decided to bring in people that were already strong in different areas.
Think you take a drink?
Like a home for the lost. Brought in all these gunslingers that already had been in a gang or 2 or 3 or 4. Already rode with other people, so their motives were scattered. Their motives were about money, power, or such. They were not of one mind either. You have to make people. You make them, they'll stay with you. They'll be loyal. That's what Jack does. These young guns that ride with Jack, that have made their name while riding with Jack, that didn't jump from one gang to the next, that will breed a loyalty that none of the other gangs will really
We stand
feel.
Chi-Chi up.
The DiCenzos did the same thing, though. They bring in people that are not made, that haven't done anything by themselves. And they make them under them, build them up from the ground.
You think that might have been what my problem was?
It may be. It already was established. He went from one group and then in a span of a couple weeks was looking at another. It's always hard to trust somebody that is...
I mean, it's not as simple as that.
It's never as simple as that, but that's what it looks like on the outside, right?
Yeah, perception is everything.
What do you want outside of creating your own? If the DiCenzos were to try to come to you tomorrow and offer you a place at their table, would you accept? Do you want it?
That's a tough question because they showed me a lot of disrespect.
Were they honest with you?
Not completely, no. I mean, half of them saw my value, half of them fucking hated me, so... And no matter how many times I asked for somebody to just fucking talk to my face, nobody would. Not until the very end. Not until I forced them to.
Well, they're not honest people. If you didn't learn that while riding with them, I'm not sure what to tell you.
It's unfortunate because, you know... I mean, I think I've told you this before. I really have a few people in that group that I respect and I care about and even admire, but it's not everybody, man. And bad apples really do spoil the bunch, you know?
I told Cesare the other day that if we didn't have such bad history, if deep down in my soul there wasn't still anger and resentment and hatred towards him and his brother, then maybe I'd probably like them. And I don't like that I have that down there. I wish I could like them. Because they've created something, they've lasted, they're strong, they're powerful. I don't agree with their methods. But I do wish we could have been friends.
You think you're never gonna be friends?
No. I will never respect them. Because they still don't know why we started a war with them. They still think it's us that started the war with them.
Didn't realize that you were on a side like that.
Oh. We fought him. I'm not talking about Jack.
You're talking about before. Alright, that's different.
You see, long before we ever robbed them of their guns, they pretended to be us. Put on little masks and went around town to town robbing folk. Told everybody they were working for the Lane Gang, and they were the Lane Gang. And then when we had a meeting with them, they were filled with pride as if we owed them something. Cocky. And when we mentioned that, they lied to our faces. Cesare admitted this to my face, that it was them in masks. Vinny. And them. Yeah. So, it was just going to be a robbery, a simple transaction, a simple business transaction. You went around parading that you were us. We're taking your weapons. We need them for a war. Business is done. But that wasn't how it was seen, of course. It started a bunch. So, I'll never ever let go of that in my spirit. Not just the beginning of the war, but the way it ended everything. I turned the other cheek, and I suppose when I got out of Sisika, they turned the other cheek too, not to kill me.
You don't think that people change, people grow, people learn?
They do, and they have. We've done too much damage to each other to ever be close, to ever be friendly. I will never respect them. I can respect parts of what they do, but I will never respect them as a whole. I told them that to their face. I'm not talking behind their back here. I'm not here to judge them or anyone on the way they live their lifestyle, on the way they decide. And maybe that's something I've grown in over the years, is to stop judging people because they do things different than me. I never wore a mask. I never pretended. I never held law. Asked me if I did something. I smiled and told them, of course I did. I'm a monster, and I would smile and then gun them down if I had to. Hell, I wore a bright gold jacket to every crime I ever committed. On a golden horse, on a gold jacket with a golden gun. I wanted people to know it was me.
Why?
Because when you ride into town and everybody looks at you, what do they think? Entire towns used to stop, go completely quiet, stare, hide, some of them, and wonder, that's Robbie Gold, that's Becker Lang. What are they about to do? Are they coming for us? Are they going to rob everybody? Are they going to fight the law? What's going to happen?
And that made you happy?
It's a thrill. It's a notion. Power, respect. It was better than going into town, smiling at everybody, shaking their hand, while stabbing them in the back, while being a monster behind their backs.
Hmm.
Wolves travel in packs on the roads. They don't live among society. It's a different way of life. We were not able to go into town unless we were going into town with force, and for the law and the marshals were ready for us. They wanted nothing more than to catch us in a town with our guard down. We were the most wanted men for months, years perhaps, in the entire crossing. And yeah, I am proud of that, I guess. Never was caught.
Never was caught?
Never once.
What?
The only time I was ever put into Sissika was because Becca had to leave. He wasn't well, and Max had died, and he needed time. So Becca needed to go. And the rest of the gang was scattering, some wounded, needing time to nurse their wounds in the mountains and such. We're fighting 3, 4 battles. The Law, Renee, the DeCenzos, the Magicians, the Hutch Vandal and his croc. We were fighting everybody. I was nearly dying. Body was shutting down on me. So I turned myself in. That was the only time I was ever caught. And so I don't consider that being caught. I walked into town. And like I said, the entire town stopped. I'm barely standing, sweat from my brow, my whole body quivering. Renee standing next to me yelling at me, "Why are you turning yourself in?" He was so mad at me for turning myself in. I was trying to show him something. Teach him. Teach my enemy something, but...
Teach him what?
that your power resides within you, and whatever you believe it is. That sometimes it's okay to say that's enough. I confessed to the murder of Becker Lang. Lied to the law, told him I murdered him, killed him. Had his daughter corroborate my story.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to jail for about 6 murders. I never thought I was going to get out. I wasn't supposed to get out. That was the only time I went away. Never caught. Fought an entire war with the DiCenzos. I think they maybe put 1 bullet in me. And that was in the middle of a firefight that I ended up still standing at the end. Everybody calls me a has-been nowadays. Everybody says all I do is talk about the past. I live in the past. I don't live in the past. But that wasn't that long ago that I was this man. That I did these deeds.
You miss it?
Yes. I suppose.
But you're still retired.
Until I have purpose not to be.
Oh, shit! What do you think would be a good enough purpose for you not to be retired, Robbie?
That's a tough one. Really depends upon circumstance. If a man is persistent in making sure I'm a liar or calling me a liar and trying to push me to that point, and they actually know who I am, they know what my deeds are, then that probably would come out of retirement for that. To show. But I don't owe anybody anything. I don't need to prove myself to these people, to anyone in the crossing, that I'm still relevant, that I'm still powerful, that what I do is, I'm still who I am. I'm not playing their game.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of fool has to dance to prove they can dance? That's like asking you to sing just to prove you can sing.
Amen.
They've already heard you sing. They know you can sing. You don't need to sing to prove you can sing. A dancer doesn't have to dance to prove they can dance. And a killer doesn't have to kill to prove they can kill.
Hey, fucking man, Robbie.
I'm not dancing to that tune. Nobody's. I don't need to prove I'm relevant. Someone pushes me far enough, they'll know. But I got nobody to fight for. No reason. And I'm not gonna do it for ego.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I haven't done nearly what you've done, especially in the crossing, but I can at least relate to that. That's what I think a lot of people's fucking problems is. Everybody wants to do everything for their own fucking ego. Nobody can just... Nobody's truly confident. Nobody's truly confident in themselves. Half the people, I guess. Not nobody. Half the fucking people.
No, they're not. The brothers are.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to be violent to prove they're violent. That's why I wish we could be friends. You know, several months ago, they were not as strong as they are today.
Yeah.
Yeah, several months ago, they was I think they were struggling. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Well, Solomon died, and I think that caused a power shift, allowed them to claim much of Saint-Denis and really say, now this is ours again, completely and wholly. But I always told everybody out there not to wake them. Don't wake the sleeping giant. Let them just continue to be.
Stasis.
This
Yeah.
Chichio seems to be pretty decent guy you got on your hip here.
Very good one. Really good head on his shoulders.
You have to ask yourself, Dahlia, as you progress forward and you find your purpose and you find what you want to do, are you going to join this game, a game of violence that they all have, or are you mainly just going to be business and entertainment? Because eventually you'll have to choose.
See, Robbie, you say that, but here's the thing. I feel like violence chooses me.
As in you're drawn to it, or people are drawn to hurting you?
People are drawn to hurting me, and you know why, Robbie? And I'm gonna be really honest with you about this. Because I think people are drawn to loving me.
But you got
understand
the
what I'm
ego
saying?
part under check.
I don't think that's ego, Robbie. I think that's what I've fucking seen. I think that as soon as one person decides that they have affections for me, 5 people come out of the woodwork with affections for them, wanting me fucking dead. That's what I've seen.
Huh. Actions have consequences. Now, sometimes you are the recipient of action without first committing an action, I suppose. None of us are victims, though.
No. No, I wouldn't call myself innocent. I would say that I go above and beyond, actually, to try and remain innocent. And, there's nothing people fucking hate more than that.
Yeah.
It's complicated. It's complicated with me.
I hope you good luck. I hope you get what you want out of whatever you're creating and putting together.
I do like you, Robbie, and I appreciate you having conversations with me.
Well, I got nothing better to do than talk.
I don't know, it's... I feel bad for saying it like that, honestly I do, but at a certain point... At a certain point, it just seems like it's not something I can just ignore anymore. It's not something that I can say, no way. No way. You know? They didn't do that because they have some kind of affection towards me. No way. You know how many times I've had to say that to people? Then it comes back to perception, right? You know, the fucking DiCenzo's accused Sam of being in love with me. I think they still believe it no matter how many times I say it's not true.
Yeah. It's odd.
Perception.
I had to kill a man. I told you about that when I killed O'Neill, right?
I think so.
Right in front of the Chenzo brothers because they would not take my word for it. So I killed a man so that they saw I was being honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling you to go kill somebody to prove you're honest, but it takes a statement sometimes.
I just don't know what my statement is supposed to be at this point, Robbie.
I can't tell you that. I don't know what your statement would be either. You can tell someone till you're blue in the face that you're not out to cause problems or you're not out to mischief. You're just trying to live. You're trying to do your thing. Trying to create your own thing, but people are going to believe whatever the fuck they want to believe.
Exactly. Exactly.
I was just lucky enough to have a moment where I cemented myself. No matter how much of a snake I am, or they think me to be.
Okay, so are you admitting it, or are you saying?
Oh,
that it's
I'm
a
absolutely a
perception thing?
snake. No.
Okay.
I was called the snake of the crossing for a reason. I'm very good at telling you the truth, smiling while I'm doing it, but also stabbing you at the same time. I also am not attached to things. I was to my family, but
You,
others I'm not really.
You still talking about your life story over here?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, who's this lovely gentleman?
Robbie, this is Ivy. Ivy, this is Robbie.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Pleasure, Miss Ivy.
So, do you, you work at the casino?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really one to work.
Ah, all right.
I'm retired.
Oh, nice. What do you do on your free time? Just relax and things?
I talk a lot
Perfect
About-
match for Dahlia.
about the past, about the future. I like philosophy.
Nice.
I like fishing.
Oh yeah, my partner absolutely loves fishing. He's good at it. He just went to bed though.
When she says partner, she doesn't mean her romantic partner.
No, I don't swing that way, but I mean business partner.
I like, I always tell people, I tell people also, I'm a retired performer of the nefarious arts.
Are you an actor?
Oh, no, but I put on a performance.
So, what were your plans, Dahlia?
Just wrapping up this conversation a little bit, and then seeing who's around. Would you guys anything in mind?
I was gonna show Teach how to hunt. Because I told him if he if he comes with me, he could probably make almost $100 per hunting trip. So.
Right.
I don't know if you want to make money, if you want to do mining or something. I don't know.
If you guys want to go ahead, I can try and meet back up with you. I'll probably be up pretty late tonight, and I might be trying to do that type of thing.
Because I know
later.
Misty is not around. Lydia is, though, by the way, just letting you know. I don't know if you ever need to speak with her, so...
Yeah. Good call.
Alright, yeah, we'll be up in Valentine.
Okay, sounds good. I'll send you a telegram then.
Alright, sounds good. Alright, Cheech, let's go.
All right.
Okay, I'll
You
see you
good?
soon.
Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you as well.
All right.
And I'll see you soon.
Okay. All right. Hey,
meet
good
you.
to see you, Robbie. Huh? Take care.
You as well, Chichio.
Robbie, answer me something. You think I'm like
Yes.
you?
No.
How so?
You still have spirit. You still care about people. I don't think you'd ever betray someone you love.
You're not wrong.
I would.
Just because you don't give a fuck.
If it was what I felt had to be done in order to continue whatever purpose I set myself towards, and yes, I absolutely would.
And what if I told
Kill
you that I've
someone
done
I
that
love.
before?
Well, I don't know then. Maybe we are similar.
But I
I
cared
don't really
about
feel
it.
things the way a lot of people do. I don't know. I care too. I visit graves because I care, right?
I had another question. Do you enjoy talking to me?
No, it's torture. What sort of question's that?
Well, I just mean because I have a reason to talk to you, you know what I mean? You got good stories. Maybe that's your reason for talking to me too, just because I listen, right?
You know why I like Jack? Because I didn't have to do anything. And he respected who I was.
Robbie Gold things.
You've shown me nothing but respect.
That's true.
I didn't have to prove myself to you. That goes a long ways with me. A lot of people out there, they want to see what it's what have you done for me? What have you done for me lately? It's not. I don't know. And yeah, I did something for you, but I didn't have to prove myself to you to do that. And you were already giving me respect for that.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, I enjoy talking to you because you give me respect.
All right.
I think they give a good head on your shoulders, perhaps. I think you're not being completely open with me, but that's fine. You don't gotta be.
I mean, being open with people got me nothing but my throat cut, so...
That's fair. Like I said, you don't have to be.
But being open and honest, they're two different things.
Indeed, they are.
I always say I don't have the energy to lie. Except when it's law. Law? Yeah, I'm gonna fucking lie too.
You know what's funny is I don't even normally lie to the law.
Wait, what did you say?
I said what's funny is I normally don't even lie to the law sometimes. I want them to know who I am. Always did.
Yeah.
Not with my crimes, but as a person.
Yeah, but I mean, if it was up to me, you know, I would play cute with the law and not give them information, but just like play cute with them all the time. But in the crossing, you get labeled as a rat. You're never coming back from that.
Perhaps. I don't believe in ratting. I think it's a stupid term anyways.
Explain.
You know, everybody wants to... Let me put it this way. Society's created laws that we have to follow, right? And they put them in black and white, and eventually the states all adopted these laws and put them into statutes and said this is how our society will live and conduct itself. Those that are criminals that live outside these laws have rejected the notion of these laws and say, no, we'll do it however we want to do it. And we are strong enough, powerful enough, and smart enough to do it and live well and enjoy our lives, regardless of who gets in the way or how it hurts anyone. And so these outlaws or criminals, or however you want to say it, are living outside of what society has dictated to them that they must live. And they have, you know, spurned it. No, we're not following your laws. We don't have to. We'll make our own. So they make their own. They say, in those laws, it's code. Don't talk to the law. Don't tell them anything, because that's the code. And then they create that law, and then they hold other outlaws to that code. Just like a lawman wearing a badge would hold you to their code, an outlaw would hold their proverbial badge, holding you to their code.
Yeah.
And to me, it's the height of hypocrisy and the height of it ain't in the spirit of being true freedom, true outlaw. You're bounding yourself to somebody else's rules. Now, if you, in your heart of hearts, believe I shouldn't ever give the law anything, then that's fine. That's your own code. But the moment you start calling people rats, the moment you start saying, well, they talked to the law, they did this, well, did they agree they would never would? Or is that just your law, your code that you're forcing them to do, wearing your little badge? No, I believe in freedom. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. Regardless if it follows society's codes and outlaws' codes or anything else. So the idea of calling people rats and such for using the law, talking to the law, being friendly with the law, I think it's stupid. I think it is the opposite of why we rejected the notion of the law.
It's actually fair, yeah.
I'm not... It depends, though. If you're an organization and that organization operates as, we'll never talk to the law, and you've agreed to that terms, then that's on you. That's on that organization.
Right.
We never had those rules in the Lin Gang. Eventually, we did actually use the law once. Because we were fighting both the law and the DiCenzos. They were both coming after us, and well, the law supplied them with guns. So,
What do you mean?
what do I mean?
There's no fucking way.
A deputy marshal went into the cabinet of his office, came back out, and supplied the DiCenzos with their most powerful firearms to hunt us. That's what I mean. And they collaborated and plotted towards destroying us with this deputy marshal.
There's no way.
There absolutely is.
There's no way. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It absolutely does make sense. They didn't have any power then. They lived in our shadows. Every time we got into a firefight with them, they were gunned down and humiliated. Yeah, they caught us here and there, onesies and twosies, and took them and carved in their chest and put their little black hand on their chest.
Really?
But they were nowhere near winning a war against us. So yeah, they got given the gift of powerful firearms and such from a deputy marshal. I do believe they went back and took them from him after that deputy marshal was found out for doing so. But they were seen as protectors of Blackwater at the time. And they thrived in Blackwater, in the city limits, under the protection of the law and citizens there. We did, at some point, tell a sheriff or a deputy or something what this deputy marshal had done, and we were like, this is ridiculous. You're fighting right next to a bunch of criminals, yet we are the really dirty bad ones. You really think it's okay they burn women alive? I think that's all right. Now, I felt it was all right. It was war. War is war, but of course we had to spin the narrative, as one mostly does. Even kidnapped a lawman once and put it in the paper. I might still have that article, Wolves Among Sheep or something we said. Trying to warn the good people of Blackwater about them. It was all propaganda. It was all just to win the popular opinion. We were ostracized and living on the fringe of society. We needed supplies. We needed ammo. We needed food. We needed medical supplies. Never would after that, though. Becca put his foot down and said, no, we're not doing that. We're not talking to the law. Fuck them. We'll fight them too. They're a tool to be wielded and used against your enemies whenever you feel you have to.
Man, Robbie, some of the stuff you tell me about them, I can believe wholeheartedly, and some of it I just have a hard time.
Well, you'll never get the truth, so from them.
I wonder what they'd say if I asked them.
I imagine they'd be pissed at me for saying it, bringing it up, or reminding them of it. I don't think they particularly like people speaking their name.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I don't know. Me personally, right now, I'm just way too caught in the middle, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to even get out. Honestly, it's hard.
Well, yeah, already out. What are you talking about? The only thing you got to worry about is Sam when he gets out.
I don't wholeheartedly believe that I don't have to worry about Jack anymore. And at the same time, just because I spoke with Jack at all, the DiCenzos probably think about it a type of way as well. Everybody's so fucking paranoid.
Fuck what they think. Fuck what any of them think.
Well, Robbie.
What are they gonna do? Stab you or shoot you because you think you're not being 100% truthful?
Probably, yeah. Honestly. That's exactly what I actually think is gonna happen.
Then say it with some fire. Whenever they accuse you, get some fire in your belly. Say your truth with conviction. Don't get defensive. State your truth. Put it in their face. And then tell them to shut the fuck up and swallow it, because that's the truth.
Yeah, you got a point.
The more you try to explain yourself, the more defensive you get. The more your truth looks like it lies. The more you tried to explain yourself the other night among Jack, the more the conversation potentially had a chance to turn to violence.
Interesting. You're right. Maybe that's been my problem this whole fucking time. Maybe my problem is thinking that explaining what the truth is gonna fucking affect people instead of just fucking telling them what it is.
Yeah. I tell people what the truth is. I say this is the truth. You can like it or don't like it. I don't care. It's the truth. I'm not gonna sit here and defend it or defend myself. Take it or leave it. You don't want to believe me, don't believe me. Fuck you. I hate being called a liar.
Same.
But I don't need to defend myself to nobody. I'm not in no court.
Wow. I really think that I really think that you might have just solved all my problems.
You just have to say the conviction once, and then let them believe whatever they want, and then tell them I don't care whether you believe me or not. It's the truth. Walk off if they let you. Leave it like that.
Holy shit.
You've already proved yourself to them, different people, right? You don't need to prove yourself more.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only person you owe anything to is yourself.
Well, damn, Robbie, I think you might have just changed my whole fucking life.
You might get shot next time you try to do that, but you never know.
Maybe, we'll see.
It's funny. You know, what's his name? I'm not going to tell you the full story, but this kid, he comes to me, and he's upset over the death of some of his friends, right? Torn apart. I give him a little bit of advice, and he takes that advice and spins it into an idea, and he creates this idea, and he starts doing something, and he gets shot by his own people. It's quite funny. But he was like, "It's your fault I got shot. I ran with your advice." I'm like, "Hey, I didn't say it worked. In fact, I didn't even tell you to do that."
No, but I mean, but you're right, because you were there. You were there in one of the instances that I fucking always find myself in. And you're right.
There's a trick in conversation that people do. They will, there's several, but they'll talk at you, and then give you enough time to just sit there and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk until your words start to, until you slip up. And you're not even telling a lie, but you'll still slip up because you're trying to re-explain things in different ways because you don't think the brain's comprehended the first way you said it.
Mm-hmm.
So you start to re-explain it in a different way. And in that re-explanation, they'll look for any sort of sounding discrepancy, whether it's a discrepancy or not. And then they'll key in on it, and then they'll accuse you of saying two different things, even though the two things are very much almost the exact same thing. They will take it and put it in two different boxes and say the different. You said this about this, but now you're saying this about this. Now I've caught you in a lie right in front of me, and then you say that, and then they'll get you.
Yeah, so.
And then they'll. It's like the other day, right? With Jack, same situation, same conversation. Jack says he'll never tell you. You let him talk just long enough that he did.
Yep. Exactly.
It's the same thing, except for using it against you to manipulate your words, to make you a liar, no matter whether you're lying or not. You can manipulate someone's words in conversation the more they talk about things, because they constantly will re-explain it in different ways to try to prove it. And then you just end up hanging yourself with their rope. Even though you never said anything to the contrary. They just manipulated your words.
Ooh.
It's always better to say less in those situations when you're being accused. You say the truth. And then you just let it, say it with conviction. Believe me or don't believe me. It's what it is.
Yeah. I think I just get really frustrated because I don't know what it is about me. I guess it is my history because it didn't start off this way. I mean, when I was in Sam's Club, it was like constant praise and admiration, you know what I mean? And ever since, I've had these problems, people not trusting me, not thinking that I'm telling the truth, thinking I've got something else going on, whatever it is. But you're right. I let that get to me so much that, I mean, if I explain something and you don't hear me the fucking first time, that's your own fucking fault, right?
Yeah. You like to be right. That's, you like to be seen as right.
Not even that. No, I'm always prepared to be wrong. I am always open to being wrong, actually. But what frustrates me is when I am right and people don't acknowledge that or pretend I'm not.
Well, that frustrates everybody, like I said. Yeah, you have that inherent need when when someone's accusing you of something and you're like, no, that's not the truth. That's not right. You have to prove them right. You just have to. Because you think if you finally get through to them, you'll have that breakthrough moment where clarity will set in, and they'll either accept you or they will understand you better, and you'll achieve some sort of purpose. But it doesn't matter whether you could convince someone in their mind, and they could still debate you and argue against you just because they're not willing to accept it as true. And they will continue to argue with you to try to make you look the fool, because they won't want to eat that ego and pride, of course, right?
Right, right.
Eventually, you just have to not care what people think, whether they believe the truth about you or not. Let them believe whatever they want. Maybe one day you'll be like, look, I've been telling you the truth the whole time. This is on you.
Right.
Maybe you'll get that opportunity one day.
Can only hope. I don't know. Honestly, Robbie, my method has always been, since I came to the crossing, that I'm going to stay on the high road, and I don't care. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is that's talking shit, that's lying, that's coming after me, that's attacking me. I'm just going to do what I think is right. And at least if I fucking go down, I go down knowing that I just did what I thought I should.
That's all you can do. You don't always get to be right. You don't always get that validation that we need whenever we are in the right. We never got it. We were blue in the face, and we would try to get people to see the truth. People don't want to see it.
Well, everybody has their own truth. That's the problem.
Indeed. See, we were monsters, and we were. We robbed people. We murdered people. We did all sorts of terrible things. So they were very willing to not believe that others were monsters and that we were the actual real bad monsters. Renee was an incredibly violent man. Ask anyone in the crossing that's been around a while who Renee was.
Renee
You will
is
hear
such a
of
good
his
last
violence.
name.
But when he was hunting and trying to fight Becker Lang,
Oh my
all
god,
you would have
Forex,
heard was
no!
people praising him
We didn't say that.
for fighting one of the most dangerous men in the crossing. Becker was about as harmless. Becker was about as violent as I don't know, as a fish, tiny one, a minnow. Becca's the only reason I never completely went and got lost in my own darkness and hatred. But everybody thought he was the
Do you
worst
tell
of the
me
worst.
that you got lost in your own darkness and hatred? So you're saying you weren't always like this?
Right now, like I am now. No. I was filled with fire. Anger. It was the smallest thing to set me off and put me on to somebody. And
Ooh, Forex, no. I didn't say no.
you know what's funny is people they want to see that again. Everybody always wants to make me angry for some reason. Moxie's always like, I want to see the old Robbie Gold. I want to see you mad. Apparently, I put on quite a show when I was angry. I don't know. I see red.
I was literally just tired. See, that's an interesting thing too, right? Because me, I always try and control my emotions as much as possible, especially when I was doing what I was doing in Sam's Club. And I don't know, honestly, I'll be honest with you right now. I think that me being a woman contributes to this. You know, aggressiveness from a woman is perceived a little differently, and I do believe that. I don't think I'm making that up. So I would notice that if I was forceful, if I acted like some of my, you know, male counterparts and everything like that, it would be perceived very negatively, and I had to kind of have this mom voice if I wanted to be listened to. I fucking hate that, because I want to be fucking angry and I want to be aggressive, but
Then be angry and aggressive. Fuck perception again.
oh my god, Vonix, no. He ran away. We were looking for him.
Let it swell inside you. The fire, the conviction in your words and in your tone.
Yeah, I think I'm about to that point.
That's come from the inside, though. You have to find the place that makes it that way. It was easy for me. I lived in hatred for years.
I mean, but that's not satisfying, you know? What's the point of living in hatred? Bring the fire. We are gonna bring the fire. Give us a chance.
You're
Give
not
us
wrong.
a chance to bring the
It
fire.
wasn't satisfying in the end.
Give us the chance.
I shot a deputy marshal in the end. Outside of trying to save Cyrus, shooting the deputy marshal was the last thing I did. Out of pure anger. I didn't try to save Cyrus out of anger. You ever met Ortega?
Mm-mm.
Deputy Marshal Ortega still runs around quite often. He's always doing the gun auctions. He used to be an outlaw long ago. Traded it in for a badge at some point. And at some point actually started believing the bullshit of keeping the law, keeping the peace, and such. Him and I had a long conversation, and I was just... I hated the badge. I hated law dogs.
The hate flow through.
Every last one of them, I wanted to put a bullet in their eyes. What?
No, I'm just, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. My brother, he put a badge on once.
Your brother?
Yeah. When I was young, he was the older brother. Put on a badge. We always argued about the way things should have been done, the way what was right, what was wrong in society, and how to fix it. And he believed he could fix it on that side.
Yeah.
And as he rode to try to fix it against some outlaws that had
It's
not
true
much
life.
different than me and my gang were, I guess, or other gangs, any gang. They just camped out somewhere, and he had knowledge of their location, so he rode on them. And he wanted his fellow sheriffs and such to ride with him, but they wouldn't. A couple of them were in the outlaws' pocket, and others were just cowards. Ended up trying to apprehend the Malone and was gunned down and killed. At least that's what I believe. I never found his body, never seen him. So, from that moment of understanding that they never would have his back and they wouldn't have rode with him and didn't ride with him, I decided I was going to expose the hypocrisy and destroy every lawman I could.
Wow.
And that was my goal. That was my agenda. And they made it so goddamn easy here in the crossing. Their hypocrisy and their self-righteousness. But Ortega, I could not find his monster. And it pissed me off, so I shot him.
Mm.
So yeah, I lived in anger. Plenty of it.
I think anger clouds judgment too much. But to be fair, it's kind of my primary personality trait.
So does love. So does hope. So does sadness. So does every other goddamn emotion out there. Every single one of them clouds judgment.
Yeah. That's true. Oh my god, hope is the worst one for Dahlia. Wow.
That's why I just walk around. I don't have any emotion, so I can have sound judgment.
Let me ask you something else, Robbie. From what you know of me, do you think that I would become a monster as well?
What do you mean become?
So you think I already am?
Are we all?
No.
You said you slit the throat of the trumpet player.
Okay, slitting the throat of the trumpet player is like the least the least terrible thing I've ever done.
Not for his family. If he has one, they're up at night wondering why the dad never came home.
Okay, I mean,
The
we'll
kid's
leave it
opening
like
the
that.
closet and seeing a blonde-haired monster coming out after her.
Mm-hmm. That was just a little murder.
Dahlia, the very fact that you looked at the DeCenzas and you said they're most like what I reflect from where I've come from. Tells me you come from a background that's comfortable around monsters.
That's fair.
Do I think you're going to treat people unfairly? Or not be nice to people? No. If that's what you're asking.
I mean, you understand this conflict, right?
The one within you or the one you're talking about that's actually raging in the crossing?
In me.
You're afraid of being what you are?
In a way.
You think there's a different path you could walk? Is there even another path you'd want to walk?
I think that's the problem. I think that I was given every opportunity to walk a different path, and I just fucking didn't. And I don't think that I'm a monster, but maybe I've just been lying to myself about it. That's my problem that I think about.
You can be good to people. You can be kind, natured, giving. You can sacrifice for others. But we as people, we got different natures that live inside of us. A lot of people think they're warring with each other. Whoever wrote the Bible, they always talk about the two spirits inside you, and one wants to push you towards anger and sin or something, and the other one wants to push you towards goodness and kindness. However you break it down, no matter what religion you break it down with, are these two spirits, two natures kind of within us. And sure, they may rage, they may fight against each other, they may conflict with each other. But understanding them both and understanding they both exist within you and they are both you, and being honest with that they're both you, will allow you to live at peace and not regret.
You don't think that a side has to be chosen eventually, right? Chosen? You don't think that eventually one side is going to overtake the other?
No. I think every day you have a choice. Every decision point you have a choice. To either do one thing or the other, and you're typically going to do the one that's going to benefit you the most down the road, or that you believe or perceive will benefit you the most down the road. Sometimes that requires monstrous action, and other times it requires kind action. And sometimes you'll allow yourself in your own naiveness to believe maybe you're just doing it out of the kindness of your own heart, sacrificially for someone else. Hell, maybe people do, I don't know. But I don't think one side takes over. Both sides exist. I think we in our minds, we start to believe we're either too far gone, or you'll hear people say that all the time, I'm too far gone. You'll hear outlaws say that all the time, right? I'm too far gone to turn around now. You're not too far gone. You're just stubborn and think you're too far gone. You can still do whatever action you want to do. You can still be kind one day instead of angry or kill the next. It don't matter. Are you afraid you're going to go too far? Is that what you're afraid of?
Maybe, yeah. But what if it's not my choice anymore, you know?
What do you mean, not your choice?
I mean, look at the situation with Sam, right? There's a lot of choices that were made for me, right? A lot of things that happened that I had to react to, and there was only a certain way that I could react to keep myself alive. But I guess that's the bottom line choice, right?
Perhaps, I guess, but things happen to us every day. You think those choices that happen to you are going to push you to a path of utter darkness that you'll never be able to walk away from? You think that many bad things are going to happen to you? That you truly have no choice? And because I think a lot of times we say we have no choice. But that's just a deflection because our guilt is creeping up inside or whatever. So we try to say, oh, I didn't have any choice. Makes it easier on our guilt.
I mean, honestly, I think that my perspective on the world was actually a lot darker before I came to the crossing. But what happened to me on the way, the reason I'm here, my sister, the thoughts of my family, they made me try and revert back, you know what I mean, to what I was before many years ago. And I feel like I'm constantly fucking just fighting myself.
Yeah. You're gonna fight yourself. But I mean, like, you trying to stop yourself from doing actions or what?
In a way.
What actions is Dahlia gonna do? She gonna start killing people? Stabbing people in the back? Lying about people? Grow a forked tongue and sow dissent among others?
It's just, you know, Robbie, I've been trying to take the high road for so long and look where it's gotten me, you know what I mean? Fearing for my life around every fucking corner. With nothing to show for it. How long? How long? How long? How long am I gonna take the fucking high road? And get nothing for it? And watch everybody do the opposite, reap all the benefits. How long? How long am I gonna be able to do that?
I could tell you I wouldn't. But that's me. You have to ask yourself, if I didn't take the high road, if I did begin to act, instead of allow people to say things against me or hurt me and me turn the other cheek, if I did begin to act, what actions would I do? And then what consequences would I reap with those actions? Would I actually get consequences I want? Or would I reap even a greater world of hurt than what I already have? If you can look at yourself and you can say, well, I think I can improve this by standing up for myself a little bit more in this area, or actually attacking somebody that has attacked me, or plotting the demise, whether it's long-term or short-term, of somebody that had wronged you to prove a point that you don't wrong Dahlia. that you're not someone to fuck with. You're not someone that can be pushed around so easily. What does that look like in the end?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care what it looked like when I was young. Most of those out in the crossing that choose violence, they don't care what it looks like either.
Okay.
Analyze your situation, figure out if it would actually make a difference. Play every scenario out in your head.
I usually don't.
And go with the one that you're most comfortable with. That you can live at peace no matter the outcome with.
Mm.
Because you don't want to live not at peace with yourself, right?
Right.
I don't regret a single thing I ever did. Not the murders, not the killing, not the thievery. I don't regret any of it. I would never change a single piece.
Robbie, I got another question for you.
Go ahead.
It's a big one.
Oh,
You're going to answer me honestly.
well, you still don't think I've been answering you honestly?
No, I don't. Just, confirming. Who do you want to see win this war?
There's no winners in war.
But that wasn't my question.
That is the answer. There is no one that wins.
But
I hope
would
they're
you like to
both
see?
affected. I hope they both feel pain. I hope they both understand and grow and change from their ways to adapt new ones. You see, one represents the West and the way of the wild, the way of the estranged cowboy that lives by the seat of his pants and does whatever the hell he wants to do whenever he wants to do it, and nobody will take that freedom from him. And the other lives by a code and order that they bound themselves to. One where they feel comfort and power. One where they feel they can exercise power over everyone within their domain. So I hope they both lose enough that they are able to find compromise between the two worlds. But that's the only way anybody walks away whole and walks away winning. Well, not whole, but the only way anyone will walk away is if they're both pained enough that compromise is the only solution.
When do you think that's going to happen?
You know, a few days ago, I thought a lot sooner than later. But now, I don't know.
You know, when I was supposed to mediate the war, I asked every single fucking person involved, what do you think it would take to end this war? James Kelly was the first person I asked when we were out there in the West with him. And James Kelly's answer was, whenever they stop sending their people after our people. The next person I asked was Cesare. His answer was very similar, actually. And then the next person I asked after that was Jack Kettleman, and he said, when people fucking die. When everybody's dead.
Is Jackson enamored with death? He said the same thing about the death of the West. And yet, Desmond, Peter Gray, Morgan, they all still walk the earth,
Mhm.
and that war's over. But he's not wrong in the fact that death has to be felt. Pain, loss has to be felt. That's why there's no winners in war.
Right.
Because they'll both walk away less than whole from this.
Yeah.
They'll both have lost someone they care about, people they care about. You know, the Chancellors didn't kill my wife, but they tried. Shot her several times when I was in Sisika, unable to protect her.
Thank you, Hydrate.
They didn't kill her. They couldn't take that from me. But she did have to make decisions for survival because she's a survivalist. And in doing so, she used another man's, manipulated him to protect her. And in that manipulation, she was unfaithful to me. And they took that from me. A bond, faithfulness. They also killed Michael. I didn't know Michael well. To be honest with you, I don't really mourn his death. But he was a member of my family, I suppose. I just didn't know him well. I'm sure we took things from them too. A nipple.
Oh, yeah, the nipple thing. Yeah, absolutely.
We took more than that. We took their dignity, their respect.
And then what happened? Because now they have a lot of dignity and respect, so...
They're hardened. We disappeared. We left. No more shadow cast upon them. A vacancy to be fulfilled, a power void. Anytime a group leaves as powerful as any, as we were, then it leaves a void to be filled. They seized the right opportunities.
So you're really not on any side at all? You're just watching the world.
No,
burn
Jack's
around
got to change. Jack has to die or change before everyone around him dies.
you. Right, Drexes?
Otherwise, everyone around him will die. If not this war, then one of the next.
But yet Jack says that people, how did he say it? Like, people don't follow him. They choose to be there or something like that. When I accused him of having his, his loyal followers and shit, he was very offended by that statement.
Because everybody tries to paint Jack as this cult leader that has these people following him blindly without any thoughts of their own, and they just do what Jack asks them to do without thought or reason. That's, it's disgusting to say things like that. People that say things like that, they're not considering the whole. They're not, it's just people trying to downplay the power that does exist in Jack's group, because there is a power there. And it's like you said, unity, right? A unity of mind. Jack's ridden with Mills and Pip, and so many of them for so long. They are very much unified in thought and in action. But it is, they're just given to this lifestyle of I feel there needs to be some change in it. But Jack gets offended because he's not this leader that they all just follow him blindly. They all have their own independent thoughts, and they follow those. It just so happens that most of the time their thoughts are pretty unified, not always. Look at Kaniklo and things he does. Aurora has a lot of things she does on her own. So do some of the others. I like them. I wanted them to beat the West. I wanted them to tear those bunch of random gangs all holding hands with each other, playing nice as if they weren't monsters. It was hypocrisy to the highest. And then Summers goes down there and they all kneel. And they kiss their boots of Summers and try to play nice with Summers and turn him on Jack too again.
Can I one, please?
It was disgusting. Made me sick. I hate when gangs start holding hands with other gangs. Weakness. Indebting yourself to somebody else's problems. But I wanted them to win that one. The Summers War they fought, I was confused and conflicted. I like Summers somewhat.
Oh, thank you, Life.
I think Summers is a bit confused with who I was, but I set that record straight.
But Robbie, let me ask you another honest question. And you'll have to pardon me, I've been drinking a little bit, at this point in the night. When I asked you who you want to win the war, you say you don't care, but you also mentioned that you're not friends with the DiCenzos. So, once again, I'm going to ask you, and I want you to give me a yes or no answer. Do you have a side, or are you just watching the world burn?
I reckon I'm mostly watching the world burn. If you're asking if I'd be sad if Cesare or Sonny perished, or if I would care if either of them perished, no. In fact, I may smile a little bit.
And what about Jack?
I'd potentially be sad for Jack. Not because of some hot connection I have where I was kind of mentoring him for a while, anything like that. But mostly because it's a tragedy. Because I feel he's close. He's close to moving past where he's at in his stage in life, and he just keeps getting stuck in the violence instead.
So you want Jack to retire?
No, I want him.
In a little cabin in the ocean?
No, I would he'd drive me crazy. He tried to set up these landing. He tried to set up these landing, and then I think he had ideas for Van Hall, and he has all these ideas. Poker tournament ideas, business ideas. And he's so close to setting aside his warring and his violence in order to get some of these ideas. And I feel that if he was able to do so, if he was able to achieve that, then that would be good. Because it's not lawful what he wants to do. But it would be an element of freedom. Because he's not going to hold hands with everybody. He's not going to play nice. He's going to just do it his way.
Mm-hmm.
And his people would be right there to reap those rewards with him.
Another question. Do you think there's still a chance of any mediation in this war at all?
There's always a chance. But 2 people died.
And they're still riding out for that.
Yeah. Effie and Nash dying was the worst thing to happen for the DiCenzos. 2 people that were not going to ride after you aggressively. Sure, they maybe were obviously of the West. Obviously friends with Jack and family with potentially some of the others. Actually, Effie hated Nash. Or hated Jack, mostly. But, yeah. That was the worst thing that could have happened, was those 2 dying. That was a mistake.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I rode out for Effie several times with Sam's Club. I think I might have told you this before. And I never knew why the fuck we were doing it, honestly. But at that point I was a soldier, so I did whatever Sam needed me to do. And it got to the point at the end where I was questioning. I'm like, why are we taking all these fights? Why are we Effie and Nash's lapdogs? I'm just confused. Why are we fighting this? Over and over again. Why are we fighting for them, right? I never got it. And then when we were in Armadillo, when we were on the run, because we were fighting for them, I remember... Did I tell you this?
Don't remember. Effie was not nice to you or something.
Yeah. I was up there by myself one morning when they all went away. When we all went back to the city. Well, they went back before I woke up that day. And yeah, she was actually a huge bitch to me. And I thought, you know, maybe she doesn't remember who I am. That's fine. You know, it's understandable. We don't have that close of a relationship. She just probably doesn't understand that I am Sam's fucking number 3. Actually, her adopted son, everything like that. I've ridden out for her. I've risked my life for her, right? So I kind of politely reminded her who I was. You know, it's me, it's Dahlia, you know, Sam's girl, with her, you know, Sam's coworker, whatever the fuck I said. She still didn't give a fuck. So, yeah, I honestly don't give a fuck about Effie and Nesh, but I actually am a little confused about how this turned out the way it did.
Well, I think the only people that will open up and tell you are dead.
Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the situation in that shootout was. I don't know how fair of a fight it was. I don't know exactly why they did it, even though I was with them that night. I was with them that night. I didn't know why they rode out. I didn't know who they rode out on. I didn't know that they were dead. I guess it doesn't matter. I mean, I guess it's none of my business, really, when you think about it, right? But yeah, definitely makes things a little different.
It does. Because death is different than blood, right? You spill blood, and people can get past their blood being spilled. Blood for blood. All right, we took a chunk of your flesh, you took a chunk of ours, we're good. But once there's graves, once there's people in the ground, it's hard to move past that.
You know what's really hard for me to think about? Is that I'm the person that Jack took revenge on for Effie and Nash. And I survived. Praise God for it, or whoever you praise, you know. Thank whoever. I'm alive. But if I would have died that night, I wouldn't have solved anything and nobody would have fucking cared. That's what kind of pisses me off, Robbie. If I would have actually died that night, if that cut would have been an inch deeper, my deep cut, the one I still got stitches on, if that cut would have been a fucking inch deeper, half an inch even, And I didn't walk away from that shit. If the law hadn't found me in time before I bled out, Jack would have taken revenge on me, and nobody would have fucking cared. And the war would continue as if nothing ever happened. That's what pisses me off about where I'm at.
You'd have just been another casualty.
Oh yeah, no. I would have been a casualty. Yeah, great. Not a fighter. Not a soldier. Not somebody that was actually a fucking part of the war. Not Effie and Nash. Not a martyr of the war. It just would have been that fucking singer died.
No. Your death would have been spun and used and manipulated to inspire, to bring anger. Your death would have been used. You wouldn't have been forgotten. It would have been used in manipulation.
Literally,
You know that, don't you?
No, I don't. Nobody would be inspired by that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be their fond memories of you that would inspire them. It would be the ones that were using it as manipulation to inspire. People are only looking for easy reasons to be involved and to cause chaos and harm. And folks are very easily inspired. And somebody on the ground makes it real easy to inspire them. Whether they care for that person much or not.
I don't know. I don't think that's true. I think that Effie and Nash had so much of, I mean, like once again, I was outside of this. They were very far removed from anything having to do with my life other than me risking it for them on several occasions, but
sure. They're different than you, of course.
Me, I was just, if I would have died that day, I really don't think it would have meant anything to anybody, to be honest with you.
Maybe. But it would have been used.
There has to be leverage for it to be used first.
No, that's where you're wrong. It just has to be a reason. It doesn't have to be anything besides someone close to us died, and in the sense that you were friends with them. Because you were friends with the DeCenzos then, right? You told me you chose them and you rode with them once.
That night, I wouldn't necessarily call myself, I wouldn't call myself friends with them, actually, that night.
Well.
That's the reason that I was by myself when Jack took me, actually.
Or perhaps I don't know everything, but I feel it definitely would have been used. Manipulate.
Well, good thing I'm still fucking kicking then. Because that would have been annoying as fuck for me.
Well, you'd have been dead.
No, I would be looking down, or I guess I'd be looking up from hell and saying, look at these motherfuckers.
There's no hell. There's no heaven.
Nobody knows for sure, right?
Tools of control. If you follow the law of society and you're a good boy or girl, you'll go to heaven. That's what the rich and powerful want you to think. So you play their rules, you play their game.
I mean, yeah, no, I don't believe that shit either, but...
I don't know about who I care wins it. If they all died, I wouldn't care.
So you're just. I mean, you know,
Who do you want to win it?
That's a good point. Yeah.
You want the ones that turned you away, or you want Jack to go after them? The one who cut your throat.
You know, when you put it like that.
You don't want Jack to die in the war. How will you ever pay back?
I just want it to end.
Why? What good does it ending have to anything to do with you? What benefit do you reap from it being over?
War's bad for business.
To who?
Everybody.
No, it ain't.
Yeah, it is.
It's great for the gun business.
Mm-hmm. That's not my business.
It's great for the gym business. As these outlaws go more and more in debt. The war ain't bad for business. Their business is entertainment. It's good for that too, as people need a respite. They need somewhere where they can feel comforts again when they're down and weary.
I mean, not if they're constantly fighting. Nobody's got time to go to a theater when they have to look out for their lives.
Yeah, maybe not, maybe so, who knows? Have you tried putting on a theater show and seeing if anyone show up?
I would love to do that if I could still sing.
You don't need to sing. Talk to the general store. I'm really hungry.
Mm-hmm. Should check telegrams too.
All right.
You're an interesting person.
Thanks, I think.
Don't say I think.
Well, not sure if that's a compliment or not.
It is a compliment.
Hmm.
No, he's not joining. I mean, I didn't
I like
ask,
to look
but
at the world different. Try to understand it. Try to figure out its mysteries and everything like that.
I mean, yeah, I could agree with that.
And each person adds to part of the mystery.
Yeah, that's true.
Stuff tastes nasty.
What?
This canned beef.
Gross.
So you think war's gonna end and business will start booming again in Saint Denis?
I mean, there'll
So
be
you want it to end?
Yes.
That'll just give them more time to turn their attention to something else.
Mm-hmm.
And know you care about several of them. You said that quite a few times. I think you even said love almost.
Mm.
You know which two I like?
Hmm.
The Fantonis.
I love the Fantonis.
Me too. You know, at first I didn't like them. They were going around trying to sell cards to everybody, and it was annoying me. And then some little innocent girl comes up and she's like, I'm going to give her my first deck I find of the Van Horns. And I was like, why? They don't need your charity. Of all the people in the world, the Chenzos don't need your charity. She's like, well, they're so nice to me. And I was like, well, all right, fine. But I didn't like it. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way. They're going to take advantage of some poor girl that makes like hardly anything, and they was going to take her a deck of cards. But then as they was around more and more often, I enjoyed talking with them. Even did trading with them. Sold them a couple decks myself. Bought a deck, I think, from them.
Yeah, they, I used to make a joke that, I was their number one, like, how do I say this? That basically I was their number one employee because I would just fucking funnel all my money to them because I was collecting every deck.
I like them too, though. I see them out working. That's why I like them.
Mm.
And their work isn't taking advantage of others.
That's true.
Taking advantage of the weak.
Mm.
Not like I didn't do any different. Hypocrisies, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you have any telegrams you needed to...
No, I'm good.
Alright.
Might be heading to bed in a second.
Yeah, I need to sleep. Have any more big questions of me?
Not tonight. Maybe in the future. Thanks for entertaining them.
I don't have secrets.
Angel!
They may think I do. Hell, I know
That's
they
exactly
think I do.
what somebody with secrets would say.
What secrets you want to know?
All of them.
Well, I mean, even the law knows I shot Deputy Ortega by now, so that's out. Oh, I did rob a bank.
Thank you so much,
That
Angel, for giving
only
us
a few
gifting us
people
up
know
to
about.
Angel.
I was
I'm
involved.
good, Angel. How are you? How's your day been?
Recent. It was fun. I won't do it again.
No, those aren't the kind of secrets I want, Robbie.
Well, you said secrets. I ain't really got that many.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I already told you several of my most well-kept ones.
Wait, did you just get partnered? I thought you were already partnered.
About my brother. You know, I was in a gang with a whole bunch of people, and none of them knew about that.
What do you mean?
I didn't tell them. I don't tell people. I don't talk about that.
Oh my god!
Not until I went
Fucking
to...
go.
I went to the native reservation and Chuge and
That's so
Nkosi up
exciting.
there, and they
Congratulations.
coaxed it out of me because they were talking about regrets and the ceremony of it all. And I unleashed it a little bit, trying to... I don't know what I was trying to do.
Let's fucking go.
I don't really talk about it much. Still brings up anger.
Yeah.
But I understand now it's as much my hypocrisy and my inaction to be there by his side as it was the loss that day. So I gotta stop putting the blame on every single badge I see.
Yeah, that's also fair.
And I like the ones around here these days. Some of them, not all of them. But I've noticed less hypocrisy wearing badges these days as I see the outlaws and the others and their hypocrisy.
Interesting.
It is. It sickens me to even have the thought.
Yeah, that whole thing is complicated. Like I'm saying, even if there's people that I mean, the law that rescued me, God, that girl was sweet, but, you know.
Well, Dahlia, you need to take care of yourself, all right?
Yeah, I will.
Careful getting involved in this shit.
I mean, trying not to.
Are you?
I think so.
Closer to honesty.
I'm trying to defend myself.
Yeah. Play the long game.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want.
You don't have the short-term power. Play the long game. That easy.
Exactly.
All right.
Thanks,
I'll see you
Robbie.
around.
Good to talk to you as always. I'll see you soon.
Yes.
What's the... What?
There will be a poker game tomorrow night.
Wait, where?
At the Bastille, from what I reckon.
Oh, okay. I'll show up. What time?
It's normally at 9 New York